David, an Italian ghost hunter fluent in English, had been exploring what his client claimed could possibly be one of the most haunted houses in the area when something strange made him start recording. He explained that just moments before filming, a plant in the corner had shifted on its own and the chandelier above him had started to sway.
Okay, TikTok. I'm in another fucking haunted house, I swear. This plant just moved and the chandelier. My client went out to town, elderly guy, but he was here alone, but he has a lot of these artifacts here. I don't think I have attachment or anything. But yeah. Whoa, what the hell? This is what I'm talking about. You guys heard that?
As he continues talking to the camera, a loud sound of a door slamming closed can be heard somewhere deeper in the house, more than likely upstairs. David looks around, while behind him the chandelier begins to swing again, more noticeably this time. The movement is slow, deliberate, and eerily timed, with each sound coming from elsewhere in the house. He stands still for a few seconds, narrating the video, clearly unsure of what to do next. This investigation doesn't stop here though. This story will continue in a future video on my channel. Subscribe. The following video begins with the sound of deep, uneasy breathing. A man is filming from his bed, phone trembling slightly in his hand. From downstairs, a woman's voice can be heard calling out the words, "Babe, come downstairs," over and over, each time sounding a little more impatient.
What the f? Alexa, turn on all lights.
I couldn't find any enabled video skills.
Really?
To do that. Go to the Alexa
Thanks,
app
Alexa.
to manage your video skills and devices.
Then, the sound of a door opening and closing echoes through the house. The man knows that nobody else should be home, and the clip abruptly switches to CCTV, footage from downstairs, showing a door near the hallway swinging open on its own before slowly shutting again. The woman's voice stops entirely after that, replaced by something much more chilling. A faint, mechanical tune that sounds like it's coming from a toy somewhere in the man's room. The camera shakes as he pans around trying to find the source, and the eerie, dollhouse-like melody keeps looping, echoing through the silence. The man doesn't speak again after that, just films in disbelief as the sound continues until the video cuts, leaving viewers wondering if the voice that called him down was ever really human. The next clip from this story shows Ali's prayer mat, and he starts his explanation saying the story took place whilst he was praying. He explains in a low voice the eerie music from the night before. The same dollhouse-like tune has started again, coming from a small music box he keeps on his shelf.
Guys, I was just praying and the music box just started playing by itself. Can you do that again? Nope. Nope. Nope, nope, nope.
The camera focuses on it as the melody begins to play on its own, no one touching it. The soft, mechanical tune echoes through the room, sending chills through the silence. Ali's breathing grows heavier, and he mutters a prayer under his breath before kneeling forward again. He films the music box continuing to play despite not being wounded. Once it finally stops, he prays 3 more times in succession, visibly shaken, but trying to stay composed. He later explains that whatever is in his home doesn't seem to want to leave, and that he's now considering bringing in someone spiritual to cleanse the place. In the next clip, we see a woman sitting at her desk, casually talking to the camera. Her tone is calm but clearly frustrated as she explains how she's been having strange problems lately with managing to get people to come to her shows, and she doesn't understand how. She is evidently confused with the situation, but little did she know that she was about to become far more confused from something else.
I just want to know how I can get people to come to our shows. How do we get people to come to our shows? No, I'm just trying to understand. Tell me it doesn't look like there's someone right here. There's not.
As she continues talking, behind her, in the doorway that seems to lead to a closet, something suddenly falls to the floor in a swift motion. The movement is quick and sharp. Cutting through the quiet room, she freezes mid-sentence, her eyes darting toward the sound, before slowly turning around in disbelief. From the camera's angle, it's clear the doorway is fully visible, meaning no one could have been inside or near it. After ending the clip, she gets up, cautiously walks to the closet, opens it wide, and finds nothing inside. Very spooky indeed. It begins with the sound of frantic barking echoing through a quiet house. The camera switches on as the person behind the camera is very confused because they don't even own a dog. The barking seems to be coming from below, down near the basement.
Hello? Oh my God!
As they approach the staircase, the noise grows louder, mixed with the unsettling noise of the basement door repeatedly opening and closing at the bottom. The person hesitates for a moment, panning the camera to their blue-haired friend behind them before slowly making their way down. The sound of claws against the floor echoes up the steps, the barking sharp and desperate. When they reach the halfway point, something starts charging upward, heavy, rapid footsteps, but there's nothing visible. No animal, no figure, just the sound rushing past the camera. The person gasps and stumbles back up the stairs out of fear. What's most unsettling is how real the barking sounded, yet how completely invisible whatever made it was. Viewers have started calling it one of the clearest recordings of a ghost dog ever caught on camera. A few days later, the man's mother came over to visit, bringing her dog along. Wanting to prove what he'd been hearing, he decided to film again while she was upstairs. The clip begins with him standing halfway down the basement stairs, camera in hand, while the same unsettling noises echo from below. The sound of the basement door rattling and creaking is identical to before, as if whatever caused it had returned. At the top of the stairs, his mother's dog stands frozen, staring down into the darkness, its ears pinned back and body tense. The man takes a breath and walks down the remaining steps. He flips on the basement light, revealing the quiet, still space below, except for one single door at the far end, the one that always seems to make the noise. As he gets closer, the air seems heavy, the only sound being the faint hum of the light above. Then, without warning, the door creaks open entirely on its own. From the top of the stairs, the dog lets out a deep bark, barking again and again, refusing to come down. The man freezes, whispering for it to stop, but the barking only grows louder. He runs away. Viewers later pointed out how dogs often sense things humans can't, leaving many convinced that whatever was haunting that basement had finally made itself known. The footage begins upstairs this time, showing the man cautiously standing in his sitting room, camera in hand. The camera aims at a cabinet before, without warning, the right door creaks open all on its own. He stops dead in his tracks, filming it slowly swinging wider, and it's important to remember nobody else was home. Then, from across the hallway, the light above another room begins to sway back and forth, casting long, distorted shadows on the walls. He steps closer, his breathing quick and uneven, each creak of the floorboards echoing through the house. Just as he reaches out toward the swinging light, a sudden thunderous smash explodes somewhere nearby, cutting the electricity completely. Every light in the house goes out in an instant. The camera captures his panicked breathing in the darkness as he scans around, trying to see what broke. Then, for just a second, he freezes and stumbles back. The lens catches him staring into a nearby room, and then he sounds audibly shocked at what he saw in there. The clip ends there as he turns and runs, leaving viewers certain that whatever haunted his basement had now made its way up gears. Can you spot what happens in this clip? A duo made up of a man and a woman decided to explore a haunted farmhouse that locals had long whispered about. They weren't casual thrill seekers either, because they came fully prepared with equipment, determined to capture anything unusual that might happen. The video caption explained that this was actually their return trip to the location, this time with a brand new camera they had just picked up. They admitted they hadn't even worked out all the settings yet, but promised their viewers that future uploads would include extremely clear footage and even night vision. As they started to set up for the night in front of the camera, something truly unsettling happened. For just a split second, a shadow figure appeared in the window directly behind them, before vanishing without a trace. It was so fast that many viewers missed it on the first watch, but when slowed down, the shape of a figure becomes clear. The fact that the pair had no idea what was happening behind them only added to the unease. With the promise of even clearer footage in their next investigations, this was only the beginning of what could be a chilling series. Megan was finally enjoying a quiet night to herself, house-sitting and catching up on a movie she had been meaning to watch for ages. She settled in with the TV, the lights low, and everything felt normal at first. Out of nowhere, a chilling voice broke through the speakers, saying, "Any way I can make you more comfortable?" Megan froze instantly, because not only was that voice not part of the opening scene, but when she restarted the movie, the line was completely gone. She checked, rewound, and even tried again, but the words were nowhere to be found. The incident shook her badly. What disturbed her the most wasn't just hearing the voice, but realizing it had come through so clearly, as if someone was right there in the room with her. She admitted afterward that she thought maybe it was a glitch at first, but the more she replayed the scene and compared it, the more impossible that explanation became. With no logical answer, Megan was left uneasy in a house that wasn't even her own, constantly glancing over her shoulder for the rest of the night. She later said she cut the movie short and kept every light on until morning, too unsettled to close her eyes. Even days later, she couldn't shake the feeling that the voice wasn't part of the film at all, but something else was trying to reach her. The Circus Siblings family on TikTok had been telling their followers for weeks that their home was haunted, but naturally, plenty of people demanded proof. So one evening, they decided to record a video to put all doubts to rest.
Joe, try it. See,
I will open that door.
Stop it, Bailey.
That doesn't work. It just does it when it does it. So it's not me.
Well, try it again.
It's not me.
Open the door.
Shut the door. Shut the door.
Open the door.
Oh, it's a ghost.
What?
Yeah, see, it's not me. It doesn't do it when I do it.
Open the door. Let's see. Oh, open that door.
Tristan, you really not fucking around?
Oh my god, it opened again. That wasn't
Holy
me.
shit.
I freaking want to hold the door closed. I
Shush.
the door open.
You can hear it click and everything. It's shut.
Why is it not open?
That's just a ghost.
Before anything started, the father made a point of jumping, slamming doors, and making big movements around the room to prove that what was about to happen wasn't caused by him. Once everyone settled down, the room grew quiet. Then one of the children, with a mix of bravery and curiosity, asked out loud for the ghost to open the door. For a few seconds, nothing happened, but suddenly the door creaked open just a crack on its own. Many viewers commented that this was the first clip that truly convinced them something strange was going on inside the Circus Siblings' home. It left their audience eager to see what they would capture next. For those of you that don't believe it, the family had more proof ready.
Shut the door, make sure it clicks.
This time, the Circus Siblings showed footage from a second camera they had set up inside the room. The angle captured the door from the other side perfectly. Then, just like before, the door slowly creaked open on its own. There was no one pushing, pulling, or even close enough to touch it. The family pointed out that setting up a second camera was the only way to silence the doubters, and sure enough, it made the whole situation even creepier. With two different perspectives showing the same unexplained movement, many viewers agreed there was no way this could be faked so easily. The circus siblings had managed to capture something genuinely eerie, and it raised even more questions about what was really haunting their home. Luan was lying in bed late at night, recording casually after days of feeling like something wasn't right in his room. He wanted to prove to himself that it was just his imagination, but instead, he caught something terrifying.
Ese ruido es del techo. No sé qué esté pasando, pero sí me siento nervioso. Vamos a ver. No inventes. Se abrió la puerta. Se abrió la puerta como la última vez. Déjenme calmo, déjenme calmo, déjenme calmo. Déjenme calmo. No hay nada, no hay nada, no hay nada, no hay nada. Se abrió la de abajo, se abrió la de abajo. Vamos a ver, vamos a ver. Uy, otra vez. Es en esta zona. Yo no sé qué está pasando. Uy, los perros. Uy. Uy, los perros.
At first, the cupboard door creaked open by itself, which was enough to make him sit up. Seconds later, another door, this time another cupboard from the very same unit, suddenly opened itself without any human interaction and no visible force. Confused and visibly shaken, Luan leaned forward to look around the room. That's when the most chilling part happened. The camera briefly captured an uncanny face flashing into frame for less than a second before vanishing. The clip was short, but extremely disturbing, leaving viewers replaying it over and over to confirm what they saw. Many agreed it was one of the scariest captures they'd come across, and Luan himself admitted he had no explanation for what appeared in his room that night. A ghost hunter was exploring an old church late at night, armed only with his camera and a flashlight. The air inside was heavy, and the building was mostly dark with a small window radiating cool lighting. The atmosphere felt like something spooky was just around the corner. As he walked around the church bells suddenly began to ring, echoing through the empty halls. The sound alone was enough to raise the hair on his neck, but then something far worse happened. Around one of the stone corners, a face could be seen peeking out at him, watching silently. Summoning his courage, the ghost hunter moved quickly toward the corner, determined to confront whatever was there. But just as he reached it, the face slipped out of sight, and behind the pillar was nothing but darkness. With no explanation for what he had just witnessed, he was left shaken, convinced he had just come face to face with a ghost outside of the church. MC Devil 666 on TikTok had been warning his followers that a welly shelf in his home was haunted. According to him, the boots had been falling from it time and time again, but always when the camera wasn't rolling. When he told his wife about it, she laughed it off and teased him for being paranoid. Determined to prove himself right, he set up his phone and started recording, openly calling out to the ghost and asking it to push one of the wellies down.
No, hijo de su puta madre.
Sure enough, one of the boots suddenly tipped and fell from the shelf with nobody near it. Shocked but satisfied, he took the footage straight to his wife to prove he hadn't been imagining things. Instead of laughing this time, she went quiet, replaying the moment again and again before walking away unsettled. For MC Devil 666, this was all the proof he needed, but he admitted later that the incident put a serious strain on their relationship. He said he couldn't live with someone who dismissed what was happening in front of their eyes, so he decided to leave her behind. The welly shelf had done more than just confirm a haunting, it had ended his marriage. Lynn worked as an assistant teacher at a small school in Asia, where most days passed by quietly with lessons, laughter, and the usual chatter of children. One afternoon, she was sitting outside with some of the kids, enjoying the calm atmosphere, when something strange caught their attention.
Pamisa sa kalag ni Monsilo ang nagpamisa roasting kumaman. Pamisa sa kalag ni Monsilo Eustachio Segundina Rafaela Serapia Vicente Juana Tomas Patricia Yopalis Nicolas ang nagpamisa Max.
One of the students pointed toward the distance, so Lynn lifted her phone and zoomed in to see what it was. To her shock, the camera revealed a pale face staring back. It was clearly not human, as the features resembled that of a female ghost. Unnerving and unnatural in every way. Not wanting to frighten the children, Lynn kept calm, said nothing, and guided their attention elsewhere. Later, though, she shared the footage on social media, where it quickly spread. People online debated what she had captured, but what's most surprising is that after this single chilling moment, nothing unusual ever happened at that school again. It was as if the ghost had made one brief appearance and then vanished, never to return. C's Crazy Crossroads, the ghost hunter with more than 50,000 subscribers, returned in another terrifying compilation from the same haunted property. He reintroduced the setting for new viewers, explaining that this was the infamous contractor's haunted house, a place he had already experienced some strange things in. This time, the activity was even harder to ignore.
I love it. After it's all said and done, I'm very happy when stuff happens, but in the moment, it's not fun. Oh, that son of a, that was me. All right, I don't know if you guys heard that. It was a huge, it sounded like a door shaking or something. As I was talking and man, what is going on in here? What happened in this house? Maybe it's just the people that have passed on here don't want anybody coming in their house because it's been sitting for so long. Maybe they're still here. Listen. It's right here.
While filming, he suddenly heard loud knocking, followed by an unsettling series of shaking sounds from somewhere nearby. He ran straight toward the noise with his camera rolling, determined to catch the source, but when he got there, the rooms were completely empty. Just as he was about to settle down, another sound cut through the silence. The knocks returned, this time coming from above his head, as if something was moving around in the attic. With nobody else in the house and no explanation for what he was hearing, the tension was overwhelming. Fans of C's Crazy Crossroads agreed that this was one of his clearest captures yet, and many believe the haunted house is only beginning to reveal its secrets. In 2011, a man named Henning was relaxing in his living room when he began hearing some strange cluttering sounds. At first, he brushed it off, assuming it was the house settling or something outside, but the noises persisted long enough to get under his skin. Finally, he grabbed his phone and went to investigate.
Hallo? 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 Hallo?
Following the sound, he discovered it was coming from one of the doors inside his home. The knob was shaking on its own, rattling as if someone was desperately trying to get in or out. Gathering his courage, Henning reached out, pulled the door open, and revealed absolutely nothing on the other side. For a moment, he just stood there, baffled and uneasy, but before he could process it further, the door suddenly slammed shut right in front of him, nearly knocking the phone from his hand. The clip ends with him stunned, standing in disbelief, realizing he may not have been as alone in his home as he thought. Mike the runner decided he was going to visit an abandoned elementary school after hearing local rumors about how haunted it was. Even though he'd never really bought into paranormal stories, the curiosity of exploring a forgotten place pushed him to go anyway. With his camera in hand, he walked through the halls, surrounded by peeling paint, graffiti, and unsettling silence. His lens panned over drawings on the floor that looked like they had been left behind by children decades ago, adding an eerie layer to the atmosphere. However, it wasn't that which caused the real fear. It was something caught on camera at the end. While walking, he could swear he was hearing footsteps behind him, and eventually, he caught the probable cause on camera. It was a large and uncanny creature that caused him to bolt out of the facility, so comment what you think it was. A man decided to start documenting the strange things happening around his home after weeks of hearing noises he couldn't explain. At first it seemed small, but then the activity grew, and finally, one night, he managed to capture a series of events that left him shaken.
Man, this. The is that? What the is that? Some in the water in a what? The is that? Man, it's some in my house. Get the out. The is that? Oh, that, I'm out. I'm out.
The footage begins with flashing lights in not just one, but two different rooms at the same time, pulsing in a way that looks completely unnatural. As he takes a moment to process what happened, an object sitting on the kitchen table, what appeared to be a salt shaker, suddenly shoots straight up into the air, hitting the ceiling before crashing back down. The man can be heard gasping in shock, barely processing what he's just seen, but before he can even react properly, the chair at the same table begins to slide across the surface, moving directly toward him as if being pushed by invisible hands. He immediately cuts the recording after this, and later admitted that it was the moment he realized whatever was inside his house wasn't just trying to get his attention, but possibly trying to intimidate him. Blackwing96, an online creator who's spoken before about his house being haunted, finally decided to try and capture proof of the activity he's lived with for years. One evening, after hearing strange noises coming from his bedroom, he grabbed his phone and began to record, determined to see what was happening.
Hey guys, it's Blackwing96, and I've been hearing some bumping noises upstairs, like right where my room is. I'm just gonna take a look at. Come on. Okay. Really. What the f was that? You guys hear that, right? Okay. That bottle of Windex was right here. I left it there this morning. It was right there. My room's kind of messy right now because blizzards and such shit like that. I don't really know what I'm supposed to say. Oh, can you do that again?
The video shows him slowly approaching the door, pausing as faint sounds come from inside. When he walks in, his camera focuses on the desk in the corner, just as a mug slides a few inches on its own. Clearly startled, Blackwing 96 can be heard nervously laughing and asking it to do it again. Almost as if responding, the mug shifts once more, this time pushing all the way off the desk and smashing to the floor. His voice cracks in disbelief as he backs away, realizing that whatever presence he's been sharing the house with is more responsive and more real than he ever wanted it to be. A woman visiting her sister in the hospital swore she caught something strange out of the corner of her eye and decided to go looking for proof. With her phone in hand, she began walking through the dimly lit halls, recording as she went.
¿Otra vez están escuchando muchos ruidos? Oigan, ¿de dónde viene ese ruido? Se escucha como que gritaran, como si hablaran. No es nadie. Se escucha que grita. Creo que es de acá. Oiga, hay veces que se oyen las sillas de ruedas, que caminan, que hablan. ¿Qué podrá ser? Ay, ¿qué podrá ser? ¡Ay, no! ¿Qué es eso? ¡Ay, no! Ahora sí, mire algo. No puede ser. No puede ser, ¿escucharon? Ahora sí sentí que alguien me tocó de verdad. Tengo que ir. No abre el pinche elevador. Les había dicho que se escucha mucho ruido. Voy a tener que ir por mi hija. ¡Abre! No abre. No está abriendo el elevador.
At first, everything seemed ordinary, but then a wooden shelf inside one of the side rooms suddenly slid across the floor entirely on its own, sending her into a panic. She immediately bolted for the nearest elevator, but on the way she yelped, saying she felt something brush against her arm, even though no one was around. The camera shakes as she stumbles, clearly terrified, before she finally makes it into the elevator and out of the ward. The footage has since left people convinced the hospital holds more than just patients inside its walls. That same night after escaping the hospital, she went straight home and crawled into bed, hoping the unsettling events were behind her. But just a few hours later, she was jolted awake by strange noises echoing through the house. Grabbing her phone once again, she went downstairs to investigate.
No mames. No sé si pueden escuchar. El bote de la basura. Ching. Y el pinche bote de la basura se abre y se cierra solo. Ay, ¿qué se... Oye. ¿Qué podrá ser? No mames. ¿Qué ching? Oh, ¿qué es? ¿Qué chingados es? ¡Ay! Se escucha.
¡Ay, no mames! ¿Qué es esto?
El pinche bote de basura se está abriendo y cerrando solo. manches. ¿Por qué chingados está haciendo eso?
The recording shows her carefully walking through the dark rooms, whispering as she tried to trace the source of the sound. It seemed to grow louder the closer she got to the bathroom, until finally she reached the bathroom where the trash can was, and it began opening and closing on its own, over and over, as if something inside was taunting her. Her breathing quickened, and she backed away in fear. She later admitted that after this moment, she began looking into buying a new home, convinced that whatever had followed her back from the hospital was not going to leave anytime soon. Sydney was home alone, her husband at work, and her baby peacefully napping in his crib. She decided to record a clip, capturing the chandelier swaying slightly above her and faint, unsettling noises in the background, as if someone were moving around upstairs.
Y'all, something really creepy is happening right now. My husband's at work. I'm the only one home, and listen. It sounds like someone is upstairs walking around. Okay, I'm actually freaking out because I just heard something drop upstairs, like on my ceiling. Hang on. Okay, I turned the video off because I'm actually really freaked out. That baby monitor that you saw laying on the ground is normally attached to the wall. My son isn't crawling, walking, pulling himself up, anything like that yet. So there's no way he could have done that. So now what do I do? All right, we're literally leaving the house. We're leaving the house.
The sounds grew louder until a sudden bang echoed from the upper floor. She cautiously went upstairs, only to find her son napping safely. However, the baby monitor, which was usually firmly screwed to the wall and far out of his reach, had somehow been dislodged and was lying on the floor. Confused and unnerved, Sydney decided to leave the house for a while, needing space to process the strange and inexplicable events she had just witnessed. Ian, the Midwest ghost hunter, is no stranger to abandoned places, always drawn to the thrill of exploring historic and reportedly haunted sites. On this night, he decided to investigate an old, abandoned theater that had long been rumored to have paranormal activity. The air smelled of dust and decay, and cobwebs hung from the rafters, but nothing had seemed out of place, until he spotted a faint, eerie mist drifting across the stage. Feeling both curious and cautious, he grabbed his camera and started recording.
Let me see if I can catch any on video. I know this is going to sound weird, being that I'm by myself, but I feel like I'm in a full house right now. There's so much energy in the air, I could just feel it. It's unbelievable. Oh my God! No way did all these lights just turn on. What the fuck? Guys, I feel like I'm about to lose my freaking shit. If you just turn the lights on, could you shut them off? This theater is coming to life before my very eyes. This whole place is just alive right now. Could you please shut the lights off? Whoever turned them on,
Could you shut him off? I don't even know what to say, guys. I am utterly speechless right now. I'm just taking this all in. Amazing. Truly amazing. Holy crap. I'm the only one here. And I mean, unless there's like some...
Suddenly, all the lights in the theater turned on at once, illuminating the dusty interior in a harsh glare. Ian, speaking into the camera, asked the ghost to turn them off again, but nothing changed. The lights remained stubbornly on. Despite the playful attempt to communicate, the ghost refused to comply, leaving Ian visibly frustrated and spooked as the clip ends, teasing more discoveries to come in future explorations, so subscribe. The following video took place in August of 2006. Phil Koch was visiting a house in Milwaukee, Wisconsin that was going through an exorcism and cleansing. He wasn't particularly into ghosts, but he was there to photograph and video the house before the ritual began. As the group was starting the cleansing in the basement, Phil was getting ready to leave and decided to take one last shot of the living room.
Oh, come on. Alright, that wasn't cool.
On camera, a door suddenly opened by itself, opening a crack, whilst it was evident nobody was nearby. After the event, Phil packed up and left immediately, spooked by what he had captured. Though he wasn't normally concerned with the paranormal, the clip left him uneasy, and he avoided returning to the house as the ritual continued. Working security can get kind of spooky. The guard, who hated the job and was only doing it because he was young, had always dreamed of becoming a filmmaker. But for now, this was just a paycheck. The community college he patrolled had a dark reputation, with rumors and stories of multiple people having shot themselves in the parking lot. This dark past made the job even creepier.
Spooky if I don't. Yo, did it again. Turn on my flashlight.
One night, the bathroom started making strange noises, flushing sounds, taps turning on and off, so he went in to check. As soon as he stepped inside the actual bathroom, all the sounds stopped. Nobody was there, and nothing seemed out of place. Despite being unsettled, he chose to keep the job rather than complain, chalking it up to faulty sensors and dark lore, while continuing to save for his true dream of filmmaking. Sean had always been skeptical about the strange noises coming from his attic door, and they had been haunting him from day one. His roommate Stephen insisted it was just the wind because Sean left his windows cracked for fresh air, but Sean wasn't so sure. Determined to catch what was happening on tape, he set up a camera on his jeans, aiming it at the attic entrance, turned off the lights, and went to bed.
Okay, everybody. We're in my closet, and I'm going to do the experiment of trying to get this on tape. My attic, it's right there. It always makes noise. It rattles all the time at night. I'm not sure if it's the suction of the wind in the attic or whatever it is, but I'm going to try to get this on film when I'm sleeping. So it is around 1 o'clock in the morning, so I'm going to place camera right up here on my jeans. So I'll try to get this on film. Alrighty. Good night, Facebook. Well, if I can place it up here. There we go.
Around 3 a.m., the camera picked up weird noises coming from the attic, almost like taps. By 4 a.m., the attic door was clattering aggressively, as if something was trying to get out, and an orb even flew past the camera. Sean was left shaken but fascinated, reviewing the footage repeatedly, and now seriously considering getting expert help to figure out what was haunting his attic. Derek had been working the late shift at the bar for years, and while he'd heard his fair share of ghost stories from staff and customers, he never took them seriously. That night, the place was quiet, except for the faint hum of the refrigeration units and the occasional creak from the old wooden beams. He was alone, methodically cleaning glasses and wiping down tables, trying to finish up so he could lock up and head home. Without warning, a stool on the far side of the bar suddenly tipped over and crashed onto the floor with a loud thud. Derek froze, staring at the fallen chair for a few seconds before running away. Just as he was able to make his escape, another set of random objects fell to the ground, as if someone moved them, but there was evidently no visible force. The air outside felt heavier, almost charged, and Derek's chest tightened with unease. The bizarre activity lasted only moments, but it was enough to shake him. From that night on, Derek made sure to finish his work earlier or bring someone along, unwilling to risk being in the building alone after hours again. Josh had stopped at a small restaurant for a quick meal, and after finishing, headed into the bathroom. It was nothing unusual, just a quiet, dimly lit space with the faint sound of the kitchen muffled through the walls. After taking care of business, he washed his hands and was about to leave when a strange feeling crept over him, like someone else was in the room watching. Moments later, the tap on one of the sinks suddenly turned on by itself, the water running for a few seconds before shutting off. Curious and unnerved, Josh pulled out his phone and started filming, scanning the empty bathroom.
Jesus Christ.
For a while, nothing happened, just the low hum of the ventilation fan and the sound of movement from Josh himself. Then, without warning, the faucet burst to life again, splashing water into the sink before shutting off on its own. That was enough for Josh. He grabbed his things, pushed the door open, and left the bathroom as quickly as he could, deciding he'd rather wait until he got home than risk another encounter like that. This particular doll had a sinister reputation long before it ever ended up in a collector's hands. Said to be from the Second World War, it was once used by a ventriloquist who toured military bases to lift the spirits of soldiers. But according to old records, the performer died suddenly under mysterious circumstances mid-tour, and the doll was never used again. Over the years, it changed owners multiple times, each reporting strange experiences such as unsettling noises at night, whispers in empty rooms, even claims of the doll moving on its own. Eventually, the head was locked in a glass display box for safety, sealed tightly to prevent tampering. As the camera focuses on the display, the doll's eyes, which should be permanently fixed shut, suddenly open wide. At the same moment, the glass door creaks open by itself. Just seconds later, the doll's eyes slide closed again, and the door moves again. Collectors who've seen this footage insist it proves what they've believed all along, that whatever spirit is attached to this doll is still very much alive. Some even warn it should never be taken out of its case again. Ahmed had always been fascinated by the unknown, spending his free time exploring old buildings, cemeteries, and spiritual places just for the thrill of documenting anything unusual. On one of his late-night outings, he found himself inside an abandoned home, where the atmosphere felt heavy, almost like the walls themselves were watching. That's when he stumbled upon an old wardrobe tucked into the corner of a bedroom. The air around it felt colder, and the uneasy sensation in his chest told him he needed to record.
¿Qué es eso? ¿Qué es eso? ¿Qué es eso? Hola. ¿Y la mosca que salió? Hola. Bien. Salió una mosca, miren. Ahí está la mosca. Y anda. Aquí había alguien adentro, ¿eh? ¿Estás aquí adentro? ¿Estás aquí adentro? Miren. Hola. Uy, ahí anda la mosca adentro, miren. ¿Dónde estás? Ay, Dios. Ay, Dios.
As the camera locked onto the wardrobe, its doors began to rattle violently, as if something inside was fighting to get out. Then, with a sudden force, one of the doors swung open wide. Eventually, one of the doors slammed shut again, leaving him shaken and speechless. He later admitted that this was the first time he truly questioned whether his hobby had crossed into something dangerous. Still, rather than quit, Ahmed's passion for the paranormal only deepened, and he now believes this wardrobe encounter was a direct sign that the spirits had acknowledged his presence. It was a special night for a family gathered to celebrate their grandmother's 90th birthday. The table was filled with laughter, food, and of course, the glowing cake sitting right in front of her. As everyone gathered around to sing happy birthday, the old woman sat beaming with joy, soaking in the love of her family.
Sople, todavía sopla. Sople. Sople la vela.
Apague la vela.
No, con la boca.
But in the middle of the song, the atmosphere shifted. Just behind her chair, a shadow darted past, small and fast, almost like a child running across the room. The family didn't notice in the moment, too caught up in singing, but the footage later revealed what looked unmistakably like a ghostly figure slipping into the background. Some believe it was the spirit of a child joining the celebration, making the birthday far more chilling than anyone expected. CCTV footage inside a quiet home recently captured something strange that left both the owners and viewers online disturbed. It starts off innocently enough, with the family dog wandering out of a room in the middle of the day. Just as the dog passes through the doorway, the gate-style doors begin to close on their own, slowly narrowing the frame. Nobody else is seen in the footage, no drafts are evident, and the dog immediately stops in its tracks, as if it senses something unnatural. The odd behavior of the animal paired with the unexplained movement of the gate left many unsettled. What makes this clip even stranger is that the owners claim this wasn't the first time their dog had acted unusual near that exact doorway. They said he often barked at it late at night or refused to cross it unless coaxed, something they had previously chalked up to pet anxiety. But after reviewing this footage, they aren't so sure anymore. Some viewers suggested the dog was reacting to a presence unseen by humans, while others speculated it could be tied to the home's history. Either way, the uneasy reaction of the dog makes the unexplained movement of the doors feel less like a coincidence and more like a sign of something lurking in the house. CCTV footage from the same home continued to raise alarm only a few nights later. This time, the family's dog was resting inside its cage, which was considered its safe spot where it usually felt most comfortable.
Hey, just want to hop on here and explain some things about the ghost and my dog. So my dog is crate trained from his previous owner. That's his safe spot. That's where he goes when it's chaos in the house with all the children, or we have company that he doesn't like. He just goes in there and chills. So that's why he sleeps in his crate. It's his safe spot. Anyway, so what you didn't see in this video is after these slight movements of the door handle, he gets up, he's wagging his tail, he is ready to go. He only starts whimpering when it doesn't open for him. So I come out, make him go potty, and you would not know anything was wrong with him. He is ready to go back in that crate. He fell asleep. I checked the camera. That night, there have been a few other things happening in the house. If you look at my older videos, and he is super chill in like the door video. And as far as the kitchen video, we have had so many things get pushed off of that countertop, and he gobbles it up. He gobbles it up. He is there waiting for it to fall. And so I think him and the ghost are like BFFs for life, or afterlife. Just had to put that dad joke in there. Sorry. Anyway, he's fine.
At first, everything appeared normal until the handle of the cage suddenly twitched, making the dog sit up straight and fix its gaze on the movement. For a moment, nothing else happened, but then the handle shifted again, this time pushing itself back down. The dog stayed frozen, ears perked and body tense, clearly aware something wasn't right. As the clip goes on, the crate door handle keeps moving in small but deliberate motions, as if someone unseen were tampering with it. Many viewers began speculating that this could be tied to a past owner, possibly one who had passed away, returning in some unsettling way to interact with the animal. Claymore had grown used to the uneasy feeling of being alone in his house late at night, but the basement always carried a different kind of weight. It was a place he avoided unless necessary, filled with old boxes, pipes, and shadows that seemed to stretch longer than they should. At 4:53 in the morning, he found himself wide awake when the sound of heavy knocks echoed from the basement door. This wasn't the first time he'd heard it, but on this particular night, he decided to capture the proof.
Alright, so that right there is my basement door, right? I'm downstairs by myself. It's like 4:53 in the morning, and I just started hearing that. I have no idea what it is, but I'm down here by myself. Everybody's sleeping, just me. Ain't the first time I heard this shit either.
As he held his camera, the banging grew more distinct, and it was very hard to miss. What made it worse was his certainty that nobody else was in the house. Claymore admitted later into the clip that the sounds had happened before, often in the dead of night when silence made every echo worse. Whether it was coincidence, pipes, or something paranormal trying to reach out, he couldn't shake the dread of knowing the basement seemed to be alive with its own intentions. The next day, Claymore was working late at his PC when the familiar sound returned. The basement door began to knock again, steady and deliberate, pulling his attention away from the glow of his monitor. At first, he tried to ignore it, but the noise persisted until he finally stood, grabbing his camera as proof.
Alright, you guys are in luck. You wanted it, right? There it is. Ain't me knocking on shit. Ain't nobody down here, right? Now, you guys are gonna say, oh, it's somebody in there, it's an animal. Nope. Let's go. So who's down here? Nobody. Nobody down here? Nobody downstairs? I don't want to hear none of that bullshit about, oh, it's somebody. Ain't f***ing. We hear that shit every single night.
He walked slowly toward the door, his steps hesitant. With one hand, he pulled it open, flicked on the light, and revealed the stairs leading to the basement. Heart pounding, he began his descent, his camera catching every creak of the steps as he scanned the space below. The basement was silent. Nothing out of place, no sign of movement or presence. After pacing around and confirming nobody was hiding, he turned back and walked up the stairs, shutting the door behind him. The unease lingered, though, and the sense that something had wanted him down there, but disappeared the moment he arrived. After this, he thought the ordeal was over, but only a short while later, the noises returned. This time, the sound wasn't coming from the basement door, but from the bathroom wall. It started as faint thuds and quickly turned into aggressive knocking that seemed to echo through the small space.
Alright, so I was hearing that knocking again, right? Except this time it's coming from that wall right there, which is my downstairs bathroom. And after a while I started hearing tapping on the bathroom door as well. So, what else? Record. See if anything else happens. I mean, I hear the shit every night. It's okay, that's never happened before. Now I have to go check it out, otherwise you guys are gonna be like, oh, it's probably somebody in there. Let's go see. I'll show you guys right now. Ain't nobody in this mother. And it is empty. Yeah, no, that one was weird. That's never actually happened before. That's new, at least.
He turned his camera toward the bathroom, and through the small crack of the door, the light inside could be seen flicking on and off, almost as if someone was toying with the switch from within. Gathering what courage he had left, he got up, pushed the door open, and stepped inside with the camera. The bathroom was completely empty, nothing out of place, no reason for the sounds or the lights to behave that way. Shaken to his core, he's now seriously considering moving out, knowing his sense of safety has been completely taken from the home. Patrick had always hated going into his basement, but one night curiosity got the better of him. He unlocked the basement door, shut it firmly behind him, and started recording as he walked into the strange, unfinished space. The concrete walls and dim lighting gave it the unsettling look of something straight out of the back rooms, stretching into a narrow corridor that seemed far too long for a house basement. As he made his way down, the camera caught a shadow suddenly dashing across behind the corner at the very end of the hallway. His breathing quickened as he crept forward, determined to see what it was. But when he turned the corner, there was nothing there, just more empty walls and silence pressing in around him. The clip ends before anything else happens, but Patrick later explained that seconds after cutting the camera, fear overtook him and he bolted up the stairs, convinced that something was following close behind. A family had been searching tirelessly for their missing cat, putting up flyers, calling shelters, and setting up trail cameras around their property in the hopes of spotting it. Most nights the cameras picked up nothing unusual, just wind moving through the grass or the occasional animal passing by. But one evening, while the parents were working in the garage, one of the trail cams triggered, and what it captured left them speechless. The footage showed a strange white apparition suddenly appearing at the edge of the frame. At first glance, it looked like a mist, but when paused, the outline was far too defined. It resembled the shape of a human, faint and pale. The clip cut off just as the figure fully entered the shot, giving viewers no chance to see what might have happened next. The family was shaken, insisting that no one else was outside at the time. Their cat never returned, and with no explanation for the ghostly image, they've been left wondering if its disappearance is connected to something far more unsettling. At first, it seemed like a normal workday for the man, clocking into his shift and heading toward the lockers in the back room. Nothing out of the ordinary had happened all morning, and he wasn't expecting anything either. But while walking past the row of metal lockers, one of them slowly creaked open all by itself.
qué haces esto? ¿En qué puedo ayudarte? ¿Qué necesitas? Dime, ¿necesitas algo? ¿En qué puedo ayudarte? Pero no me hagas esto. ¿En qué puedo ayudarte?
He sat down and stayed there in disbelief for a moment, then nervously asked out loud how he could help and what the ghost needed from him. Almost as if in direct response, the locker door slowly shut again, this time leaving a slight crack, as though inviting him to keep engaging. Unsure, he asked again, wanting to see if it was truly connected to something paranormal. That's when the door suddenly swung open again, only to slam shut with far more force than before. His shock was obvious, and though he didn't run, he quickly backed away from the row of lockers. Later, he told his manager everything, showing the footage as proof. His manager has since confirmed they are waiting on an official investigation into what exactly is happening back there, leaving everyone at the workplace on edge. Ragalzu had always carried a strange fear of the school he once attended. Even as a child, he felt that something darker than old brick walls and dusty hallways lingered within. The stories passed around about eerie noises, shadows, and even students claiming to have seen figures only deepened his suspicion. Now, years later, he decided to return with a camera in hand, determined to prove that the feelings.
Y aquí en la escuela cuando empiezan a ladrar los perros así a llorar. Ah, visto. Ahí empieza a joder, como a golpear. Todas las noches hace lo mismo. ¿Qué pasa? Tempranito empiezan a hinchar las pelotas.
As he stayed stationary, staring at the deserted corridor ahead, the silence was broken by dogs howling outside, their cries echoing unnaturally through the building. It set him on edge, and almost immediately after, the door ahead began to rattle violently. The shaking grew louder and more aggressive until, without warning, the door flung itself wide open. Ragalzu cautiously stepped forward and found only a bathroom beyond, empty and still. The fear set in heavy at that moment, and he admitted later that he felt something unseen had been watching him. The thought that a spirit might follow him home became overwhelming, and from that day on, he vowed never to step foot in that school again. Crisella Luna is well known for taking her audience into places most people wouldn't dare to go, and this time she set her sights on the infamous Hotel Posada del Sol in Mexico City. Locals warn against entering, especially at night, claiming the energy inside is too heavy to handle. In her own words, even retrieving the footage was difficult, as though the hotel itself resisted letting it be shared. She pushed forward anyway, determined to show her viewers what she found.
Ay, no. De verdad me siento perdida. Escucha. Por acá. Vamos a ver qué hay. Está escuchando. Ay, ¿dónde estás?
At 9 minutes and 47 seconds into the recording, while exploring one of the endless, decaying hallways, Crizel suddenly caught sight of what looked like a shadowy figure standing at the far end. Just before this, an odd, unsettling noise echoed through the corridor, sending chills down her spine. The moment her eyes locked on the figure, she spun around and bolted, her fear captured raw on camera. She later admitted that this was one of the strongest encounters she had ever experienced, and for many viewers, it cemented Hotel Posada del Sol's reputation as one of the most terrifying places she had ever visited. Subscribe so you don't miss her next appearance in my videos. Ranim was out walking her dog in a massive national park, enjoying the peace and quiet of being surrounded by nothing but nature. The paths were empty, and she hadn't seen another soul the entire time. At one point, to break the silence, she even joked to herself, "Imagine someone started chasing me." That's when things took a terrifying turn.
Somebody's chasing me down.
She turned her camera behind her, and in the distance, a tall, black, Slenderman-like figure stood clearly in view. Her voice shook as she said something was chasing her, the fear evident as she kept glancing back while trying to stay calm for her dog. The figure lingered unnervingly far down the trail, but it was enough to make her heart race. Luckily, Ranim managed to finish the walk safely, but the footage left everyone unsettled, wondering what exactly it was she had seen out there in the isolation of the park. A quiet night was broken by the sound of a baby crying, waking the father from his half-asleep daze. At first, he thought it was nothing unusual. Maybe his child just got a bit upset in the crib, but something about the sound felt different, off, almost like it was coming from somewhere else entirely. Worried, he got up and glanced out the upstairs window to see if anything outside could be causing the disturbance. Nothing stood out, but the uneasy feeling only grew. Determined to be sure, he made his way downstairs.
Son las 3 de la mañana, se están escuchando sonidos en la parte trasera. Oye, Ceci, hay algo allá abajo, ¿eh? Hay algo allá abajo. Sí. No, voy a ver. Está en el patio, güey. Déjame, voy a checar. No mames.
As he reached the living room, a pink rolling baby toy suddenly moved across the floor completely on its own. There was no one else there. No draft, no strings, just the toy gliding as though something invisible had pushed it. His breathing grew heavier as he turned toward the downstairs window, hoping for some rational explanation. Instead, he froze. Just outside in the garage, the curtains revealed a human-like head that could be seen peeking from behind the corner, its movements slow and deliberate, turning as if it knew it was being watched. It was far too uncanny to be human, as the proportions and the way it shifted were all wrong. The father quickly backed away from the glass, shaken and terrified, realizing that whatever had come near his home that night was nothing he could explain. Matty was stuck at home alone while his family vacationed in Cancun, staying behind because of his university schedule. He tried to distract himself by playing Call of Duty late into the night, but the calm was shattered when he noticed his bedroom door slowly opening on its own. At first, he brushed it off, but a chill in the air made him pull out his phone to start recording, just in case.
Bro, I'm playing COD, and look at this door. You cannot make this shit up. Look at this. Bro, nobody is home. My family is in Cancun, bro. You gotta be kidding me. Bro! What the Bentley? Bro, are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me right now? What the Bro! Holy... Why is this door open? What the is going on?
The door creaked shut again without anyone touching it. Nervous, he rushed over and pulled it back open, only to hear the toilet flushing itself in the bathroom. His heart raced as he bolted to the landing, where the downstairs lights began flashing on and off in eerie rhythm. Gathering courage, he descended the stairs and walked into the kitchen, only to see the tap running full force without anyone near it. Shaken, he turned to leave the room, but froze when he spotted something even stranger. A door he swore had been shut earlier, now wide open, revealing only darkness behind it. Panic overtook him, and he ran out of the house barefoot, leaving everything behind. Later, he admitted he drove aimlessly for hours just to get as far away as possible, and even considered sleeping in his car rather than return that night. For Matty, what started as a quiet evening alone became the most terrifying experience of his life. Paranormal Tours is a very small ghost hunting channel, but despite the limited following, the passion for chasing the unknown is undeniable. In one of their most recent explorations, the host decided to investigate an abandoned school that locals had long whispered about. The building was falling apart, the kind of place where every creak of the floorboards and every gust of wind through the windows puts you on edge. Still, he pressed on, determined to capture something his audience would never forget. While walking down one of the shadowy halls, he suddenly heard a noise behind a door. Startled but pushing forward, he kicked the door open, expecting to find an animal or maybe just loose debris. What he saw, however, he immediately described as disturbing. Though the camera didn't quite pick it up, his reaction said it all. Moments later, he spun around and screamed, his lens catching something far clearer this time, a face appearing in a crack in the broken door. Not once, but twice. Gathering what courage he had left, he moved to check the other side, but when he got there was nothing waiting for him. He admitted in the upload that the experience rattled him badly, but he hinted this was only the beginning. Paranormal Tours promised that in future videos, more of the activity from that school would be revealed. Late one night, a man was sitting in his room when sudden aggressive knocking echoed from his front door. At first, he froze, wondering who could be at his house so late, but when he worked up the courage to check, things only got stranger. He walked carefully around the house, filming as he went, but every time he checked the doorways, there was absolutely nothing. No visitor, no sign of anyone lurking nearby. Instead, random bangs echoed from different corners of the house, sharp and startling enough to make him flinch each time. A few items had toppled over on their own, including a bin lying sideways on the floor, but there was no explanation for how they'd fallen. His fear escalated until he couldn't take it anymore. Panicked, he sprinted back to his bedroom and slammed the door behind him, locking it shut, breathing heavily as the noise outside continued in the dark. Later that night, just when he thought things had finally settled down, the terror picked up again. As he sat in his room trying to calm himself, the door handle suddenly began rattling aggressively, shaking back and forth for what felt like forever. Around 25 seconds straight, he sat frozen, staring at it, heart pounding in his chest, before finally working up the courage to unlock the door and open it once the rattling stopped. The hallway outside was dark and empty, but briefly after he stepped out, the knocking started again from further down the house, louder this time, echoing through the silence. Overwhelmed, he sprinted back into his room, slammed the door shut, and immediately got on a call with a ghost hunter, desperate for help with what he was going through. Kokoko, the Japanese explorer we've covered before on this channel, is back again with another terrifying adventure. This time they visited the Shinshukanko Hotel, and it definitely had the viewers talking. The hotel has long been whispered about as one of the most haunted spots in the region, and KOKOKO's exploration proves why.
言ったよね。なんかありました？いや、見えない。何今の音？何今の音？しょ。 父ちゃんたちの音ではないよね。ちょっとこっちなんだろう。わかんないな。暗くてわかんない。
As he and his friend moved through the decayed rooms, the silence was shattered by what sounded unmistakably like a baby crying somewhere deep in the building. At first, they brushed it off and continued exploring, but when they entered another room, the sound came again, except this time it was much louder, sharper, and far more prominent. None of them could explain it, and the unease that you could feel through the screen made it clear they weren't expecting it. The mystery of the crying only adds to the disturbing history of this hotel, and the story is far from over. This investigation will continue in a future video on my channel. The Chilling Floor, a channel we've looked at before, uploaded yet another spine-chilling investigation in the exact same creepy castle as last time, based in the UK. The video shows the man behind the camera heading towards the staircase and standing at the top of them, when suddenly, noises start echoing from the lower floors.
We're doing a ghost hunt from a haunted castle. We're in a haunted castle. It is proper creepy. Oh, who's that? Did you hear that noise? Down here, I swear to God. Is there someone there with us?
Come this way.
Honestly, I heard banging down here. I swear to God. We're in a haunted castle and it's proper freaky. I just heard some banging from down here.
Standing at the top of the stairs, the man begins by asking the direct questions. Is someone there with us? Almost immediately after, heavy bangs could be heard below, loud enough to shake the confidence out of the cameraman. Bravely, he descended to check, but once he reached the bottom, the space was completely empty. No one was there with no explanation for it. Alexis had been relaxing at home when he suddenly heard the front door rattling with heavy knocks, loud enough to make him jump. At first, he thought it must have been a delivery, or maybe a prank, but the noise was so persistent that he finally grabbed his camera and walked over. When he opened the door, the driveway stretched out in front of him completely empty, nothing even remotely out of place. He shrugged it off, clearly unsettled, but with no answers. But the real twist came from his wife. After the clip cuts, she revealed a photo she had taken inside the house at nearly the same moment. In the picture, a womanly figure could be seen, standing right where Alexis had been looking. The strange part was that he hadn't seen anyone at all. It was as if the figure could only be visible from inside the house through the glass. the couple were left with more questions than answers, wondering why only one of them seemed able to see what was there. Two friends were hanging out late at night, sharing drinks and laughs while one of them recorded the other singing and dancing around the room. The mood was light-hearted, nothing out of the ordinary, until something completely unexpected happened.
You're fucked. What? What? What are you doing? Did you not hear that? No. Are you sure?
As the camera focused on the woman dancing, the large mirror behind her suddenly shook on its own. The drunk woman froze mid-performance, her face instantly shifting from joy to fear. Without warning, she bolted back to the bed, clearly startled by whatever she thought she had just seen. The person behind the camera, a little confused and tipsy themselves, didn't notice anything unusual in the moment, but watching it back later raised an unsettling question. What could she have seen in the reflection that the camera and her friend didn't? Aria had checked into what was meant to be a quiet and uneventful stay at a hotel, but what she captured instead left viewers unsettled. The clip begins with her already in full panic, sprinting through long corridors while screaming for help.
Somebody help me! I'm feeling good! Help! Somebody help! Please! Somebody help me, please!
Her voice echoes through the empty halls, raw and distressed, as if she was being chased by something unseen. The sound of her desperate cries was what struck people the most, because it wasn't the type of scream someone fakes for attention. It was the sound of genuine fear. The footage cuts before we see what she was running from, leaving only questions. Was it another guest, something in her mind, or something far darker hiding in the hotel? Whatever the truth, this is just the start of Aria's terrifying experience. Not long after, another video surfaced, this one from hotel security footage.
Y'all, so here's video of that girl that posted, and I'm gonna let y'all know now, it gets really weird. It's like she acting like she's running from something or hiding from something, but there's literally nobody else in the frame. Like she tweaking.
Yeah, it is weird.
And the elevator door is not even closing. Like she playing hide and seek or something. But look, this ain't even the craziest thing. Like now the elevator, look, the elevator door is closed. This ain't even the craziest thing about this video, though. I got like more video to show y'all, and it just gets super weird. So y'all just stay tuned.
It shows Aria from a different perspective, bolting down the same corridors while glancing over her shoulder again and again. What makes this footage unnerving is that she appears to be fleeing from absolutely nothing. No one is behind her, no shadow, no figure in sight. To anyone watching, she looks almost out of her mind, but the sheer terror in her movements makes it hard to believe she was imagining it. Even in the elevator, she was ducking behind corners. With both angles of footage now out there, the story only grows stranger, and there may be even more to uncover from this night. Not long after Aria's terrifying dash through the corridors, a new angle of the story emerged.
It's like all my stuff is just left here. crazy. You said what?
Don't get me on camera.
No, this is ridiculous. What the heck is this doing in here? Yo, hold on, y'all. Why the fuck is this in here? Hold this. Yo, y'all. This is crazy.
Oh my god. What?
At least you got some stuff you can take home.
This time, a hotel security guard entered one of the rooms with another staff member. The sight inside was shocking, with items scattered everywhere, and the place was in complete disarray, as if someone or something had torn through it. As they searched, they came across something even more unsettling: a hook that could be used to open other people's rooms. The discovery raised new questions. Was Aria running from a ghost, a person, or something else entirely? And if it was a person, why would they have access to something so dangerous inside the hotel itself? Nothing else was clarified, and the mystery only deepened. The last video in this chilling sequence came directly from the hotel's own security system.
Alright, y'all, so I went back and was looking at the video of that girl from the other day, right? Because I'm thinking maybe somebody must be following her, because I found that thing in the bathroom. Like, you know, it makes sense that somebody's probably following her, because not just any person is going to have that tool. I mean, that tool is for getting inside of rooms. So just keep watching the screen right here, man. I saw something that just, because I'm thinking somebody's following her.
Watch, let me fast forward. Watch this.
Watch. That's just the housekeeper down there.
See?
Right there. Right there.
I don't know what that was.
This is crazy. How do y'all explain that? Somebody explain that to me. And y'all think that's crazy? Keep watching like right by that door right there, by that table. Keep watching right over by there. Whole time I'm thinking somebody following her. So we trying to go over the film and just keep watching. Look. My hand is shaking. Right there.
What is that?
What the heck? Bro, that's a rock from that table right there. Those are stones, and those in bowls right there by that table. And that one of them stones just fell on the floor.
And there's no way that should happen, because there's no wind in there.
Wind ain't even gonna do that though. This is crazy, yo.
I don't know.
Somebody explain this to me. Please somebody explain to me what the hell that just was.
As the guard reviewed the footage, he noticed something no one had pointed out before. Just moments after Aria bolted down the corridor screaming, a shadow streaked along the wall, right behind her. There was no person present, and nothing nearby that could have cast it, making it impossible to dismiss. The evidence only grew stronger when, later in the same footage, a rock sitting in a decorative bowl on a nearby table suddenly launched to the floor. With both events caught on camera, the conclusion seemed undeniable. Whatever Aria was fleeing from that night, a ghost was following her. Mike has always been the kind of person who notices the little things, small movements, changes in sound, anything slightly out of place. Lately though, those little things in his home have been happening far too often for comfort. He says it started with odd sounds at night, but recently the activity has been bold enough to catch in daylight. That's when he decided to start filming, just to have proof of what he was seeing. The footage starts in his dining room, where a wooden chair at the table slides itself just a few inches across the floor. In the second part, the camera is in the kitchen, capturing one of the drawers pulling open slowly and deliberately, as though someone was standing right there. Finally, the third clip shows a wall sticker in his living room peeling away from the surface on its own, curling toward the floor with no one touching it. Mike says all 3 moments happened within days of each other, and while none of them were violent, the fact that they keep escalating has him wondering just how far this is going to go. Mateo works nights as a security guard at a large hospital, a job that's usually more about patience than action. Most shifts are long stretches of quiet hallways, the occasional patient wandering in confusion, and the hum of fluorescent lights. But he says that over the past few weeks, strange things have been happening, such as unexplained noises, flickering lights, and shadows where there shouldn't be any. That's when he decided to start filming during his rounds, just in case.
Se oye una voz rara aquí como... Ush. Son las domingo. No hay nadie. La silla se mueve sola, se apagaron las luces cuando entré. No hay nadie en el baño.
The footage begins in one of the hospital's empty corridors. A chair sitting against the wall suddenly slides a long distance across the floor, scraping as it moves. Just a second later, something faint and humanoid appears to shift around the corner at the far end of the hall. Mateo immediately rushes over, the camera shaking as he turns the corner, only to find absolutely nothing there. No footsteps, no movement, no sign that anyone had been in the area at all. He says the hospital's night staff have whispered about hauntings for years, but after that encounter, Mateo admits he's starting to believe them. Let's just hope if this place is haunted, the spirit leaves soon. Sarah had just finished putting her daughter to bed and was settling down to watch some TV in the living room. It was a quiet night, the kind where everything feels normal and peaceful. But then, out of nowhere, she heard a familiar sound coming from her daughter's room, a toy starting to play music on its own. Confused and a little uneasy, she grabbed her phone and decided to film what was happening.
If you scare easily, use your discernment, but this is the completely uncut and unfiltered clips that I took tonight after a couple of really weird things happened in my house. My daughter's been asleep for 2 hours. She's all the way over there. How is this standing up perfectly upright and turned on? She can't reach that. chance she's dead asleep when that thing just came on. There's no way.
Sarah cautiously enters the dimly lit room, pointing the camera toward the toy. It's sitting upright on the desk, far out of reach, and playing music by itself. Sarah quickly turns it off, her breath shaky, clearly unsettled by what she just witnessed. Afterwards, Sarah says she's reached out to paranormal experts, hoping they can help explain or put an end to the strange occurrences in her home. She's left wondering if this is just a harmless glitch or something far more unsettling. Around midnight, a family began receiving repeated notifications of movement detected by their security cameras. Concerned, the father immediately checked his phone to see what was causing the alerts. The footage shows a dark, demonic-looking head slowly peeking around a corner. The image is unsettling, and unlike anything they had seen before. Despite the chilling sight, the family remains unsure what to make of it. Some suggest it could be a strange light reflection or a trick of the camera lens, while others worry it might be something far more sinister. For now, the mystery remains unresolved, leaving them on edge and unsure what to expect next. Marco works as a security guard at a local mall and recently started noticing strange motion detections coming from the basement. His boss instructed him to go check it out and bring his camera along, just in case.
Dios. Esto sí que es extraño. Acabo de prender la cámara porque la silla que estaba junto a las otras empezó a moverse. Eran 4 sillas, pero una empezó a moverse. Está detrás de la columna, a tan solo unos metros, pero puedo ver. Allí está de nuevo moviéndose de nuevo. No puedo creerlo. Viene hacia mí. Creo que viene hacia mí. Viene hacia mí. Esta maldita silla. Maldita silla. Se está moviendo. Maldita silla. Maldita silla. Maldita silla. Maldita silla. Se está moviendo. Estoy atrás de la caja registradora. No puede ser. Creo que algo extraño sucede aquí. Como muy extraño sucede. Otra vez la silla, maldita silla, se está moviendo. Se está moviendo, maldita sea. Maldita sea. Maldita sea. Maldita sea. Esa maldita silla se está moviendo de nuevo. Parece que no se queda. Creo que iba a llamar 911. Creo que llamar el 911.
Down in the dimly lit basement, Marco films as a red chair slowly slides across the floor, inching closer to him on its own. The movement is eerie and completely unexplained. After the clip, Marco admitted feeling shaken but stayed professional. He's still unsure what caused the chair to move and plans to report it to his supervisors while staying alert for anything else unusual. The whole experience left him questioning what might really be lurking in the basement. Macchio had recently moved into a new home, still unpacking boxes and adjusting to the unfamiliar surroundings. Despite the excitement of a fresh start, he kept noticing odd things such as small sounds, items slightly out of place, but nothing he could quite explain. One night, just as he was settling into bed, a persistent rustling noise from downstairs caught his attention. Curious and a bit uneasy, he decided to investigate.
Estamos aquí en la funeraria, otra vez. Con ruidos raros. Entonces, pues, está solo. Ahora sí. ¿Cuál pinche que se ve? Que nada. Estoy solo. Estoy solo a la chingada. Estoy solo. A la chingada. A la chingada. A la vez. No mames, no mames, no mames. A la chingada.
As he filmed, several tall, pillar-like objects in the living room suddenly began to collapse one by one, falling with no visible cause or anyone near them. The way they toppled seemed deliberate, as if an unseen force was at work. Macchio quickly realized this was no ordinary disturbance. This had all the hallmarks of a poltergeist. He shared the footage with his followers, explaining that while he hoped it was harmless, the activity was clearly escalating. Since then, he's been researching ways to handle such paranormal presence, considering everything from cleansing rituals to calling in experts. The experience left him cautious but determined to understand what exactly was happening in his new home. Ian, known for his solo explorations of abandoned places, ventured into the backstage area of a long-forgotten theater. The corridors were lined with dusty props and old equipment, remnants of a bygone era. He marveled at the intricate lifts and old beauty mirrors, capturing the eerie beauty of the decaying space. At first, everything seemed calm, the silence only broken by the creaks of the building settling. But then, something weird happened.
Backstage area. I hear that a former costume designer haunts this place. Could you give me a sign of your presence? Oh wow, look at that. That's the underneath of the stage. This looks like where actors would go through. They go through that door right there. And then this looks like some kind of lift or something. If there's anybody over here, could you make a noise for me? Oh my gosh, that scared me. That's just the motion light. Whew. Dang. Hello? Anyone back here? I thought I heard something up there. Hello? Let's go up there and find out what it was.
Faint noises echoed from upstairs, and it was super creepy, considering this was a solo mission. Ian's curiosity piqued. and he decided to investigate further. Subscribe to my channel to see the full clip of his upstairs adventure and to follow his ongoing investigations into the paranormal. A man was out shopping, carrying his dog safely in his arms as he moved through the aisles. Everything seemed normal at first, but then his dog suddenly started squirming, twisting and turning as if desperate to get down. The man was puzzled, but gently tried to calm the dog, thinking it might just be restless. After a few tense moments, the dog finally managed to slip from his hold and land on the floor. What happened next was truly bizarre and unsettling. The video shows something invisible bending the man's finger all the way back in a way that looked painful, but no one or nothing was visibly there to cause it. What makes this especially chilling is that ghost encounters rarely involve physical pain, so for something unseen to cause actual discomfort is frightening and very unusual. The man himself looked shocked and confused, clearly shaken by the experience, and viewers watching the clip have been left wondering what exactly could have caused this strange event in the middle of an otherwise normal shopping trip.